get a strange magic. Oh, what a strange magic. Oh, it's a strange magic. A whole lot of love coming your way, wouldn't you say, right here on this beautiful Wowzer Wednesday on the Coyote Medicine Show, your morning wake-up call, and so much more. Here's to you, babies. Oh, and here's seeing through you, too, man. Right into your heart. Ooh, right into the source essence of your reality, that ever-loving little sparkle of life you've kept hidden inside forever, it seems like, don't it? Oh, ooh, here's to that, and the agony that bring, and all that we got through to bring it back right here, right now, right inside of me, right inside of you, and the angels, too, everybody in it together, don't you see? Oh, we are setting one another free. Yes, indeedy, on this Wowzer Wednesday. Got a big play underway. I love it. And I love you like the sun loves the earth and the sky that it hangs in and all of that good shite, man. I'm telling you what. We got it just right here this morning as we take flight. We got the goal inside, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Wow. Yes, indeedy, man. You want to stay tuned here to the Hazy Radio Network. You know, it's breaking loose. It's busting free. As I'm sitting here, you know, conveying the tunage along with the heart that's really large. I mean, this is music therapy and then some, man. It's meant to awaken the angelic inside of you by conveying it through the angelic into physicality, reality of this here radio show we call the Coyote Medicine Show. Only on the Hazy Radio Network, the heart of love, man, given in a tiny little dove called Grandpaw Koyote. And he is your love, baby. Oh, baby, each and every day, Grandpa help you get it underway, you know. Just gently nudge you, and then I fudge you, I crank it up, man. And boy, before you know it, you're dancing on the sheets, and you're still asleep, but you're wide awake, and you're saying, wow, feels good to get my butt to shake. Haven't done that for a while, have we, gal? No, baby. Ooh, and it's fun to dance with you early in the day. Oh, Grandpa does all that dancing vibe convey from 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky in the spaceship love. That's you, that's I, and all that's joined in this grand divine, you know. As we begin to really unwind and absorb into our physicality, our own reality, that little thing we've kept hidden away and, you know, kept pushed away from us, too, because it's so damn polarized and ugly, you know. We hid our best shit right there inside of that, man, you know. In a little suitcase, luggage, a little piece of luggage, so nobody could see it, you know. You had to find it, you know, and open it up, you know. So along comes Grandpa here on the Coyote Medicine Show and hands you the key to the luggage, don't you know? But first to the heart, then the luggage inside the heart, you know. So that's how we got the good start. That's why today, with our full divine presence, we can play. Yeah, see, guys, we've held ourselves back. You gotta see this inside of yourself. And forgive me for my enthusiasm. I'm saying you gotta, because it's like a little kid jumping up and down right there next to the goal line as his buddy's bringing the ball across. I mean, it's nirvana, you know. Ooh, but deep as you go, babies. The heart's on the roll. This is real, you know, and it's bringing its own presence known in the physicality reality as you look around you and you, wow, you see the goalposts now. You see the reality. You see the finish of the grand game of love, man, you know. And baby, it rocks your heart right out into the open, man, you know. I mean, it just tears you in two and brings you back together again, doesn't it, don't you see? Because in that darkest damn place there could ever be, we found the brightness of our own true love. Life cannot exist without it. Darkness serves the light and is made of it too. Darkness is the unreal, the density of time and compression. See? So what you experience now is a feeling of decompression. De-densifying, I call it, because, you know, the density is the darkness, you know, and as it de-densifies, in other words, shows we lose the attitude of time and space. Wow. Yeah, we lose the attitude of time and space, and it just flows out of us into creation. And how? I just took a glance out the old window there, and oh my goodness, there's the Sangre de Cristo on soft, white, fluffy Kimmy clouds out there over the San Juan Mountains to the west of us. You know, it's just starting to break into that buffery, baby blue sort of time of day, and oh my goodness, there's some real life out there to play. I've been talking about that Sangre de Cristo, and now here it is in the clouds this morning, looking right back at us, saying howdy doody. I can feel it. Can you, man? Are you living that energy, that life, that golden glow? You know, the gold is like the purity, the reality, the love, you know, that we convey into creation, and the red is the passion that fuels the fires of creation, you know, that thoroughly finds enjoyment in it too. Passion. This is what the personal experience is all about, passion, you know, and learning to manage it. You know, not control it. No. And passion's got to be free, you know. But in that freedom, you expand into that passion so it becomes a reasonable and rocking thing in this world. Instead of something erratic that takes you off the path all the time, you know, gets your heart broken and all that old dramatic bullshit we used to go through. How many times your heart been broken since you were 3 years old? I mean, shit. Think about it, you know. You by rights, you should be just like the Wicked Witch, all melted down by now, 'cause that shit crush, kill, control you, man, contain you, kill you. But guess what? You're alive. You're coming back to life. You found your place in the tribe. You found your place in the vibe. You found your place in the universe. And you're finding your place in the heart. Now, as this divine presence of our earth reality reveals to us once again, one of those magical little signs that you can live in. So if you're living here in the San Luis Valley right now, get out and look to the west, man. I'm sure the old moon, I can't quite see it from here, but I'm sure the old moon's hanging out there yet in the sky right above it too, man. It's got to be quite the sight. I'll see if I can sneak out there in a few minutes, if the effect lasts, and take a picture and post it up on Facebook or something, you know, or maybe make a YouTube video out of it. 3 seconds of Sangre de Cristo in the clouds, man. Oh, Grandpa's a clever little dude. You got to watch out, man. For you know it, he'll unrankle your heart, and you'll just be a love bunny too, just like he is, man, you know. He'll soften you right up by exposing you to a little hardness, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? No, don't take that the wrong way. When I say hardness, I mean the harder edges, you know, so we can soften them up and get past those stupid kind of conceptions, you know. You know, it's been the old black and white world that still bites us on the ass in the form of the Nazi Empire that's trying to rule the world. But you can't be reactive or responsive to it no matter how crazy it gets. You know, you just got to be cool. That's all. You know that's the unreal. Don't give it any credence, man. I mean, it's good to know what's going on around you in that ethereal sort of way, but understand in your ethers it's quite different. You're creating a whole new reality. You don't even see that shit anymore, you know. Nazis, my backside. Never heard of them. You know what I mean? We just love machines, man. And in that love, that innocent, creative love comes flowing through us in that magic little heart of ours. Such things don't exist. We don't create them. And ain't nobody giving us no more tin soldiers to play with. So generals and admirals and lieutenants and colonels and bird brain, pea brains that, you know, do the dirty work. All of you guys, oh, we love you all. Don't mean to denigrate anybody. I was making fun of the military reality and all of its regimentation. Goodbye, Charlie. You expire now. Yeah, no, you're not going to die, you dummy. You're dead already. You're coming back to life now. You expire away from them roles. You don't play in them anymore. The military is done. The dark mystery behind it too. It's over with. You know, it's just a matter of relegating a little bit of time for it to wind down. But babies, it's just as cool as like looking to the west. Oh my God, it's that much brighter now, and it's still sun gray out there, man. Wow. I'll tell you, the sweet wine of life, man. Sipping of the cup of love right here at 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky and getting higher and higher, babies. igniting the fire in your heart, because I can convey that along the way too. You don't have to be sitting here in my chair or in San Luis, because you already are, man. You're right here with us, rocking in the free world, and always will be, don't you see? We're so together in this stuff that what you experience, I experience, and vice versa. It goes all ways, man. And there is a way of allowing yourself to experience it all in a singular place, outside of time. You see, that's what I'm always oh my God, 3 times brighter now. Holy shit, I have to take a picture. I got to, man. So guys, I'm going to play you a little tunage to keep your heart lodged. And I'm going to run out there and take a picture. I'll be back in just about 3.5 minutes, babes. Rock your heart out. Well, I hope that got your world rocking around there, man. I always say free world, WHIRLED, like world around, you know, like the spiral of time or the dancing spiral of life that goes on inside of us all the time as we relieve our strife and let go of our pain, relieve the strain from our brain so we don't have to worry anymore, you see. We have so held ourselves back in this reality. And by the way, I got the sunrise there over them western clouds. Oh my God. It's awesome, man. Yeah, I know you were living it right along with me, baby. As soon as the show's over today, I'll post those up so you can experience that with me, baby. And I got a shot of the moon out there, too. I don't know if it'll turn out or not, but we'll just post what we got, baby, and you can see it right after the show. Well, a few minutes. Takes me a bit to download them in the computer and find them and get them, you know, make sure they're all clear and clean and everything and send them up there, man, you know. So anyway, it takes a few minutes. And, you know, while I'm doing this show, I'm so engaged here that I just can't take the time to do it, and I don't want to overtax my machinery here either. So during the show, you know, I keep everything rocking and rolling on that platitude. But boy, if it was like the emergence of the true earth or something, baby, I'd have it up there in about 5 seconds flat. Well, maybe 5 minutes, but it wouldn't take that long. You know, you just got to have the motivation to do it, and then you don't mind challenging the machine, because that's an emergency, see? An emerge-ince-e. Yeah, see, she emerges. Well, baby, if I got a picture of that, man, watch out, world, here it comes, man, you know? I think I just did, too. Oh, my goodness. It's still gorgeous out there. It's turning to gold a little more now, and it spread. We got these misty old chemtrail clouds in the sky way up there, you know, and it's catching some of that color, too, so it's spread clear across the sky. It's like, wow, you know. Sometimes it's a good thing to have a chemtrail above you, and listen, don't worry about those poisonous-ass things and how they're poisoning the reality and killing the forests and trying to kill us all. I mean, just see it as something delightful, just like we are right now. A very, very positive thing in this reality, you know. And thank you very much for sharing your love with us in this way, you naughty little Nazi kids. You know, and just love them for it, man. And guess what? You neutralize the toxicity, and the reality is what you want it to be. We just have to learn to quit bitching about it and get on with it, man. Live it in the heart, you know. Instead of in this way that's so damn aggravated with itself and wants to kick ass, you know, and not take numbers, you know what You have to let that kind of shit go. The vengeance is already over with. We've had it on ourselves 1 billion times over. And if you ain't starting to recognize yourself in Putin and people like that, well, then you ain't being honest with yourself yet. You know, let alone the garbage man. Oh, it's almost Thursday. He's going to be banging them cans and rocking that alleyway and jangling and hitting the air brakes, and I'm hitting them and, you know, revving up the hydraulics. Oh, he's going to torment you tomorrow, man. You are going to know the rock in this roll on this medicine show we call life, man, you know, and your place on the spaceship love, too, because that's life, too, man. You know, Mama Earth, she's the spaceship love, but contained in a much larger spaceship love, you know, which is then contained in a much larger spaceship love. Well, anyway, it's spectacular. So we're the tiny little seed at the center of everything from which all the little sproutlings grow and become the huge, vast nature expression in love of creation around us, all of it, you know. That's our reality. Now, we projected ourselves outside of that for a while so we could experience the counter to it, the contrary way. You know, I guess it's Heyoka, but I wouldn't even call it backwards. I'd call it lame as toast. But without being lame, you can't appreciate having wings to fly, let alone feet to walk upon, and caress the Mother Earth with each step you take. Bless the reality around you with each breath you take and exhale into creation. Breathing is creation too, you see. It works in perfect unison with your physical presence and your mystical ethereal presence to create the reality in which we live. You breathe it into being. You experience it through the feeling of breathing, through the deeper feeling. And the feeling, you know, sometimes even becomes words and music inside of your mind. You see, feelings can translate into thought. You know, and as we well know, because we get trapped in the thought of our feeling, and then we forget that we're feeling because it's just a thought. We got isolated that way. Yeah, I know it's a little tricky, but it's coyote, it's medicine, you know, and it's backwards, it's forwards, it's tricky, but it's beautiful in its trickiness, you see. It's like, you know, everybody looks for a great leader to drag them out of it, you know, or at least a lot of folks did, you know, and they all wanted Jesus to come, or they all wanted Muhammad to reappear, and anyway, whatever it was, they wanted to bring it all back and give us all a great big heart attack and just make things right, you know, in some way, you know, but they needed somebody else out there doing it for them because they didn't feel empowered. So they subject you subject yourself to an external authority. You actually literally project your power of presence into that person, and they become creation, creating you again, see? So, you know, then you're the underling, you know? I mean, that's the perception we evolved ourselves into. Yeah, I said evolved, because it was a stage in our development. All of this, and the dirty old shithole of life that we've lived in, to boot, the wars and the famines and the tragedy and the great sweeping illnesses and so on and so forth. Not alone the misery and suffering, pain created between us trying to live in these little family units and shit and be isolated, etc. I mean, there's a billion things wrong with it, ain't there? Yeah, I mean, you know, you could sit here and be sour and bitter as hell, especially the older you get, you know, because you get a lot of harsh experience to go with the cool shit, you know. And a lot of folks just can't handle it. It wears them down, you know. In fact, most people. And then you die. And you come back to life when you die, you know. So nothing really wears you down. It's just experience. You see how, I mean, that's the soap opera edge to it, you see. We perceive ourselves as degenerating and going back to death, you know, from whence we came in birth, you know. Well, guess what? That's when we pull our conscious presence back into the full presence of itself. You know, so what we're doing now, we're kind of walking around the conceptions of birth and death, you know, with this beginning. It's kind of like we're right at the goalposts of life, and we're already got our foot over the line, we're already winning. You know, we just got to stop our momentum now and accept and receive of the grand glory of the vast audience of creation that's been participating with us every step of the way. See, I don't care what kind of football you play. That's what it symbolizes for us, is the true champions of the heart that have carried the ball forward for all of humanity and got it across the goal line. You see, it's the party of the century, man. We won the Super Bowl of reality. You know, and you know, and we did it in a way that makes the big gorilla guys, oh my goodness, will you get out of here, spider? I don't want no damn spiders in my house. There's one just dropping down saying hello. Well, it's Iktomi, man, and she has her own medicine, so I respect her. But she ain't gonna live here. Not much longer. I got a little piece of paper here somewhere in a glass, and she's gonna take a ride. Well, yep, she'd die outside. It's too damn cold. Oh my goodness, you ought to see it out there. And snowy cap peaks all kind of glowing gold, and then dusty old clouds, you know, and there's still that misty, kind of misty light red in it. And I know a photograph can't take this one. It's just, it's an edge, you know, the sun is just barely touching the top of the San Juan. And now I understand they're about 60 miles from me, so they look rather small and pale by comparison to their actual size. You know, of course, we're pretty high in the sky already, so a 14er ain't that much further, you know. But we're looking at a few of them over there and just watching them catch fire in the rising sun, you know. And as it spread across the face of the mountain, and just the golden glow of life, just wow. You know, this is a Wowzer Wednesday. This is one of the most blessed and divine days there could ever be, and we created it this way. We wanted to experience it this way, so that's the way it is. You see how easy it is, how beautiful and spectacular it can be when you just let it be. You know, when you just relax and don't let them push you around anymore, and don't let the damn system tell you what to do or how to do it. You know, let go of the illusion of, you know, any kind of happiness and that kind of shit. And accept your presence in the truth of creation. Just be alive. And you'll find yourself in overdrive, man. Way past overdrive. You'll be like the hot chick in her Mazda Miata. You'll be going, you know, 18 light years before you even hit second gear, man, you know. And then you'll be through the multi-dimensionalities, you know. And pretty soon everything just melds because you're really not speeding at all. You're sitting still and experiencing your place in creation. And it's just exploding around you in a spectacular expansion of creative experience, you know. We are the hot chick, the rock and roll dude, each and every one of us, you know. Each got our own little Mazda Miata in our own way, man, and we each experience it in flight just like that. You just get going fast enough, you're all of a sudden standing still, and there ain't no time anymore, you know. It's just a great expansion. You know, you don't have the need for speed or the fear of it either, you know. You don't need to do that kind of shit to feel yourself alive. You are alive, and you're living in all of creation, man. Talk about a rock star, there you are, man. Rocking your own world because, you know, you feel it. And that feeling translates into the thought that is reality, the living expression of everything in it, you know. God, I don't know how much sweeter it can get, but oh my goodness. I was going to tell you this long little vision, you know, but let's give you a little shorter version of it because we already have in a way. But there's an experience I see, and there's an energy at play that changes everything, really momentarily, you know. I've lived this experience a few times before now, so I know it's real. It may be a metaphorical representation of a switch into reality too. But babies, it involves seeing the love of life in everything. In the darkest places, the brightest faces arising, you see. It involves seeing past the contrary way, the way of life and death, and no longer accepting that as your reality, moving beyond it, in other words. It involves enough bravery, which is the strength of heart, to just go ahead and flow in to the end of it all and let it begin. It's a romance too, it's a dance, but a very soft and easy one. A flowing, slow, sultry one, yet it rocks your heart out and you can't help but shake your booty. It's a little bit of both, it's all of it, don't you see? But it's a soft, even flow on that golden glow of life that takes us through the, let's call it the plutonium gateway of love. I think it's heart-shaped now, you know. And the plutonium's all kind of a glittery pink and glowing in that heart shape, you know, and right down into the floor, kind of like you've seen on Stargate, only in a heart shape. And there ain't water behind it, there's life everywhere, you know. And you're just flowing toward it, man. You know, you're drawn by the energy of that love, and you know there's no danger, but you know it's going to rock the reality, and that you are, in essence, sacrificing yourself yet again for the sake and betterment of all. Yet it is no sacrifice because you don't see the death in it. And therefore, because you've carried this life this far, you carry it right through that gateway of love too. And there is no toxicity. The whole idea of death is rendered asunder. And life returns to living and feeling and knowing itself. It's a beautiful moment. For as you go through that gateway, an eruption occurs, a union of life such as there has never been before. Well, not since the beginning, eh? And now in a very different way, because now the real rock stars come out and play. As you're going to find out today as it gets underway and continues in this rockin' way. Oh my goodness, that golden sun's halfway across the valley. Things happen fast here in this reality now, don't they? See, if time keeps speeding up, pretty soon we're going to be sitting still and right outside of it, baby. You see what I mean, Jelly Bean? It's a happening thing, baby. This is not a fictional reality. You know, that's going away. The fictional is no longer at play. Reality is where we stay in the ethereal way. Coyote medicine everywhere, babies. Oh, so says Grandpa here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Helping us get our day underway with your wake-up call, don't you know? Here on the ever-loving Hazy Radio Network. Kindest network you ever found, babies. Ooh-wee, I tell you what. Just wait till you see what's coming around now. Stay tuned, man. We got more, I'm sure, man. Just let it flow. Get in the glow and stay with it in nirvana. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Whew. Sweethearts everywhere, baby. Glory days, babies. Stepping right into them here on the Coyote Medicine Show in that coyote way. Here on the radio network called Hazy, man. You want to get it clear? Tune in here. HazyRadio.com. We got it on. And now so do you, babies. Here you thought old Kim, Colorado was all through. You hadn't heard about that in 6 months or so, had you? No. You forgot all about Kim, Colorado being the center of the universe. And even though we feel pretty high and mighty over here in Crestone, too, we acknowledge the reality of the central thing that's over there on the other side of the mountains, don't you see, you know. But I gotta tell you, we're not just kissing cousins, Crestone and Kim, Colorado. I mean, Crestonia and Kim, Colorado, because it's the larger area around the little village known of as Crestone, you know. Crestonia includes quite the turf out here, you know, many hundreds of square miles, man. But, you know, it's a beautiful and spectacular and very remote place to be in. Kind of like Kim, Colorado is, only more remote than even this, man. I mean, Kim's out there in the middle of nowhere. Where else you going to find the center of the universe, you know? So we folks in Crestone, as spiritual as we are, and as high and mighty of a place this must be because we live here, you know. I'm saying this kind of satirically, jokingly, you see. But at the same time, you know, we have to acknowledge and digress and humiliate ourselves in favor of Kim, Colorado, of course. How else could we do it? We're gracious beings here in Crestone, you know. We know how to get along with one another. You wouldn't believe the sense of community here since I've arrived here. Oh, goodness, guys. We got a ways to go here, so keep us in the flow here in Crestonia, don't you know? Oh, my goodness, though. Just like being the dancing machine that we are here on the Coyote Medicine Show day after day. Well, babies, Crestonia, I got to tell you, is getting it underway, you know. It really and truthfully is, babies. You betcha. We are finding the way out, man. As persons, each person in their own little right, starting to dance. I mean, I go to town every now and then. I check out the energy. And yeah, it's still a little raggedy downtown there, you know, because there's been some weird shit going on. And people turned their backs on love a time or two, and they really shouldn't have done that, you know. But anyway, we're in the process of watching that cure itself, you know. You know, there's a more mellow and chill attitude coming forward in this town than there's ever been here in quite some time. You got to understand, this place, like many different little, especially mining towns in the Wild West, has a pretty violent and dark background, you know. But a lot of loving, gracious people living here as a result, you see. Darkness always serves the light. Well, it took a ruggedy, devil-may-care kind of person to get out here and open this country up so that the Europeans could invade, you know. And so the conquistadors come, and, you know, quite obligingly to the rest of us, just like 400 years ago, but the mining didn't start till the 1800s, and the rest of Europe came along. Now, I'm saying this kind of apologetically. Yes, I am. To my native friends out there, yes, I am. But at the same time, that's where we are with this game right now. But oh, it all works out. The dream you guys held and kept here forever is real. It's not something you imagine. We know that now, you know. We acknowledge the presence of the native heart in this thing, the red road to go with it, and all of the energy behind that, essentially the Hopi energy, which is the pure, indigenous energy of the universe. See, these aren't just, I mean, as, you know, in this illusionary reality, we got the comic thing going on. Well, there it is once again, man, you know. These humble engines that get taken advantage of all the time and that are desperate and wild and crazy in their younger generations have held the energy of life for so long. And they're sitting on top of a pile of secrets out there in that great southwestern country, as we call it. I call it the Red Rock country, but they're sitting on a pile of secrets there that they're not hoarding away from anybody. They're just keeping it, just like you did, that light inside. They're just keeping it until the time is safe to reveal it. When the people's eyes open, then the people's hearts have united and all of it's revealed. You see, there's nothing hidden, really. That's just the old dynasty. The ways of darkness are the ways of secrecy, you know, subterfuge. You know, and so you have to use little disguises sometimes to get your dream along the way. And so, you know, there's been this pure native heart, essential heart, the essential dream that's been held here on this continent forever, you know. And you beings are so sweet to endure what you've had to endure and to keep up the pace the way you have. You know, we can't help but in our dear, sweet human heart honor you as the true human beings that you are and respect your place in our creation, you know, at the very center of the eyeball that sees it all into being, right? I know you, you know me. We know each other, don't you see? We dance together at the same fire. All of us united, the rainbow world now, the tribe of the many multicolored personal beings, and I'm telling you, the multi-shaped ones too, because we get, you know, as the Hopi well know, we united with our family as we continue this flow. And it may well be down there in the desert, don't you know, because where else could it be but a divine little place hidden away from everywhere else? Just every bit as desolate as Kim, Colorado, and then some, you see. Every place has its magic, but there are hidden secrets in the Red Rock country that are about to be revealed to humanity that will just blow your frickin' jets. I mean, the governmental secrecy types have been sitting on this for a couple of generations now. You know, they're arrogant and pig-headed, but they know it now. They're coming to their senses. You know, they're awakening up because you are. You see, I mean, this is a very real and practical reality, man. You know, and the unity begins inside of you. And what you allow for yourself, sometimes you have the strength to affect all of the creation around you, wouldn't you say? Well, in fact, all the time, baby. This is why it's changing. But it isn't just the softening of those hearts and the expanding of the cosmic vision into many, many different beings, especially those in essential places like that. It's a stepping forward through a dimensional separation. It's an expansion of your conscious presence to a place of seeing. Now, I call it the age of revelation, which stretches us right into the age of truth. They're the same thing and they're simultaneous, which, of course, is the age of peace. Because once you see the truth, you're at peace in yourself and you can never be jogged from it again, baby. You know, that's the end of that old presence and the beginning of the real presence of life in its glorious, expansive, creative self. And from the desert, the harshest part of it, blossoms the grandest expansion of life there could ever be. The revealing of our true history. It's hidden there neath those red rocks and stones and in those grand canyons too. You can feel it when you're there. It's ancient. It's so ancient that it can't die. It's been around forever and it will be forever. It's an expression of the expansion of our love into an experiential aspect of creation we never knew existed before. This is where it began, and this is where the treasure's always been hidden, in that red rock country. Because it's been red since the beginning, and the canyons have been deep since the beginning, too. It isn't like, you know, years and years of erosion, you know, though there has been a billion years since we first stepped forward there. So you can imagine the incredible revelations that are concealed then in those rocks. If this was indeed the place of original beginning, where the first earthlings stepped forward as human presences, well, it's beyond the extinction of the mother. That's another realm and presence of it, but that's where it truthfully began. So this then was another awakening, another beginning for humanity, which is the beginning of this billion-year cycle we've lived in death, you see. Because there wasn't any death when we began this life. It was just constantly growing, and we changed the dynamic. And there was an experience where human beings, as the enlightened presences, living on what we see now as the other side of the veil, were enticed into this wildly colorful reality. You could see this red rock country and all the canyons and stuff through our shimmering wall of life. There was a dividing wall there at the edge of whatever it was, creation or our little spaceship love or wherever it was we were residing. I think of it as Lemuria, the continent of Mu that still exists and is forever. That's the real Earth. That's the one we stepped away from when we began our presence as the less than divine human form. And we did it at the behest of a very clever gentleman that came to the other side of the wall and enticed us into it. Sold us quite a bill of goods, and in our innocence we accepted all of that. And we stepped right into it, thinking it was just going to be a 2 or 3 day la 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 la. A little jog in the park kind of thing. Baby, you can't believe how greatly our hearts sank when we watched as the world we stepped out of drew away from us and became non-existent. It's like it just shrank into the sky, and then it was no more. Our family right along with it. Our heart sunk to our feet and became the root of this life we're living and the beginning of it. And it was in that sense of loss and the unworthiness we felt in that sense of loss. We gained greatly in stupidity. We started to blame ourselves for the removal of ourselves from our reality and the living in a place where you could feel heat and cold, and it was harsh and stark. Naked land, with hardly any growth on it. We had to start the growth inside of ourselves and learn to be creative as human beings, as these densified forms of humanity that had this strange feelings and lust towards each other because they felt so separate from one another. And as time went on, as we progressed, well, arguments and fights would come forward. And it went from there, The feelings of shallow emptiness began to radiate throughout humanity. And we took that experience on and spread it throughout, this earth. And worked it out over this billion-year cycle. Now, you take it for whatever you will. I'm not saying you have to believe anything I ever say. I experience it this way. So over a billion-year cycle. We've come full circle with it. And because this is where it began, this is where the first original footsteps were as the diminished person, the diminished human person, down there in the Red Rock country, well, that's where the beginning is again. You see, because it's never undone. The beginning is forever. And these Hopi people, in their disguise, as the divine angels they truthfully are, have held, and even as an E.T. presence too, appearing as human. I mean, they're partly star children too, ain't you? Have you realized that yet? Yeah, well, that's another aspect of yourself we're getting into today, babies, in a very soft, sweet, sweet sort of way. You betcha, baby. Because it's the heart that's always at play here, the divine heart. And see, if you can see it there, you can see it here too. If you can respect it there and honor it for its contribution, then you can honor yourself for your contribution. See, we all in it together. No one's above another, and no one is more highly honored or more lonely held than you are. Whatever's going on in you, that's the reality you live in. That's the truth of yourself right there in that moment. Can you live with that? Or does it just make you want to die? For me, it makes me want to fly. It gets me really high. I love being what I am. As this scraggly little guy in human form, I'm having a great time with it. And I hope you are too, man, And that's not saying it's easy or slick. any more than it is for the Hopi people who have incredible grief to endure down there. At least they have had. Babies, these things are changing fast. And fast as they can. There'll be a gathering at Four Corners one of these days for real now, That'll probably be the key moment. But anyway, whatever it takes, it'll be given. And babies, you won't believe the life you're living then, because now is that time. And in your heart, because you can see this happening, then you start to realize and unwind and decompress a little more, because you understand what's really happening there. That there is an incredible history of humanity hidden in those red rocks. It's been there forever. And it's been added to all through the generations and ages, so there's not one moment of it that hasn't been recorded. It's kind of like a physical representation of what you would call the Akashic Records. And all the many civilizations that have existed here in premier existence, as well as in a more caveman-like style, since the beginning of time. It's all there. It's the grand library of love, and it's held in the heart of humanity, just like that little speck of light you kept in the luggage of your most demonic part of your presence, so that you wouldn't find it until the time was right, till you were willing to face your darkness, and again take flight. Forgive yourself of what you thought wasn't right when you seemed to fall away from your family. Way in the way back when of that beginning in that Red Rock land, where all of it now is recorded and is at hand in a time of revelation, a time of revealing truth that cannot be hidden. The governmental agencies can't even sit on top of, because they know the time. They know they've just been caretakers of it to keep the crazies out so they wouldn't destroy what little was left of it. Guess what? You couldn't take it away. It was in a disguised form, as it always should be. It's Coyote, don't you see? So now, as we expand through one more dimension, one more level of conscious expression as human beings, as the entire collective of human beings, then we see what was hidden in the 3D. You see, and all the rest of it just falls away. The secret space program and all the deviltry with that included. See, guys, we had to keep ourselves entertained in order to get through this. So we invented all kind of skullduggery to keep ourselves intrigued and, bring up the righteous side of ourselves so we could, pursue the darkness, etc. We really enjoy the flavor of all this. We've had a great time with it. But our time with that perception is over now, Inside of ourselves, we're starting to unite with the completeness of our whole self. Parts of ourself that have been kind of perceived of as cold and negative or contrary, ornery, whatever, the seasoning remains. The saltiness passes away, the hardness, and in its place a very clear view, a crystalline life that's so warm that it becomes the very sun itself shining inside of each one of us. The sun that creates. See, that's the heart. That is the mother's heart in the sun, given in the sun. And undivided they are one, united within the children of one. Humanity, don't you see? So be ready for some real fun times as, the reality called 3D starts to dissolve away and the reality of truth comes out to play. Mama's here, and she always has been. And she's managed us very well. Gave us all the freedom and the wonder we could ever want to experience. At the same time, keeping us contained and controlled and confined in these tiny little narrow aspects of the sandbox of time, man. You see, that way we couldn't really hurt anybody with except ourselves, and that was for learning purposes. The fires of hell produce paradise every time, man. You can't help it. Just ask Lucy or Satana or whatever their names really are, man. Just ask those characters. They'll tell you. You see, because they're rising up out of it too, man. She stood upon the water and she called forth her son. And there is only one, though it's always portrayed in two. The triad. Again, don't you see, mother and two sons? But in this case, it's a perceptional thing. The sun is one, united. There's only one. See, the sun couldn't really fight with itself. The tragedy never really happened, babies. That's our real truth. See, when we return to the beginning of time, then we understand. Then we know there was no fight. There was only the flow of love. And we got it right the first time. But we chose another way so that we could appreciate it. So that's what the loop of time is all about. The devolvement of humanity from Lemuria to the shithole caveman reality that became, wow. So, I mean, we couldn't even conceive of the brilliance we came forward with in our dumbed down states. You know, hey, by the way, have any of you guys ever noticed, somebody posted something like this a couple of days ago, I think, but have you noticed how much Keshi, the dude with the free energy, looks like the old curly-headed guy that did all the atomic equations, E equal to MC squares and all that? Not Isaac Asimov. What's his name? It slipped by me right now. You know, but you know who I'm talking about. Total brilliant genius. But those two are the same guy, man, you know. Probably Tesla replicated, too. You look at their faces, you know. I remember when I first started experiencing past lives, this is one thing I noticed. Strikingly so, that no matter the heritage that you inherited in any particular life that you were reliving in that moment, you had essentially the same form in your face. It's pretty amazing, you know, because you could have high cheekbones or low ones, or you could be black, white, red, purple, green, whatever the heck the expression was, short, tall, big, fat, skinny, whatever, you know what I mean? The bulky old Roman soldier, whatever. And it was the same essential facial feature and energy. You know, amazing, you know, that's our person. That's how you know. If you start to really look at lives, if you see your presence of face similar to what you got now, well, baby, that tells you that's where you were, that's where you are, that's who you are. You know, that's a part of your personal aspect in the reality. But don't take that to mean that, you know, you're any grander or any less than any other. Just take that as a blessing, an awareness, an awakening, and just be, you know, embrace it and say, wow, how about that? I love it. Whatever it is, you know, it may be the tiniest of lives that was one of the most significant. Like the little pissant that follows the great big gigantic redwood tree one bite at a time. Takes 10,000 years, but it does it. That's been the human experience here, you see. And the revelation now, because it's coming forward inside of your heart, now it can be revealed in this world. And you'll understand why, you know, Turtle Island here has kind of been a protected place until the invasion of the Europeans. That before that time, this place was kept and held highly sacred and secret in the hearts of humanity. I mean, you know, and only the most enlightened of souls in the dumbed down state could reside here. But that all changed, and now it's a truth again. Because guess what? That was the reality all along. We're all enlightened. There ain't one above another, remember? Oh, we're always pulling this joke on ourselves. No offense to anyone, and blessings to everyone for the expansive heart you're living in right now. God, I can't love you enough, babies. Whew. Or support you enough, you know. And I appreciate whatever support you can give to us over there at thecoyoteclub.com. I do have a sponsorship program coming up of one sort or another, but good grief, I got to get around to having time enough to do it. So be patient with me, babies. We just keep expanding and growing. The creation will take care of itself. That's the way I look at it. So I just stay focused on love and where it's taking me, and the rest of it just has to fall into place as it will. I hope you can live that way, because, baby, it's going to take your breath away, the revelations that start today, right now, in this moment, and expand and grow from here. You're getting it clear, babies. Ooh, and how, my dear? Right here in that Coyote way, yes, indeed, the wake-up call of your life, babies. On the Coyote Medicine Show, exclusively and lovingly so, on the Hazy Radio Network, hazyradio.com. We got it on.